Good Things Utah set provided by Floor & Decor.
There are moments and people in our lives that inspire us to be everything we can be and want to be. Kimberly Nixon, founder and managing partner of Open Venture Capital, joining me in studio today. Welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you.
Well, let's talk about Black female entrepreneurs and business leaders. What is the message you would like to impart to others listening?
Yes, thank you so much for having me today. And I love having opportunities like this because we know that there's a dearth in capital for Black founders and particularly for Black female founders. And so one of the things that I've been focused on as a venture partner and manager is looking at all the ways in which founders and entrepreneurs can think about building traction. And so I always encourage founders to think through resiliency, but also to treat their business as a business from day one. And so you wouldn't have a Fortune 500 company that doesn't measure their success on a quarterly basis. You should be measuring your traction and your growth on at least that often of an occasion, if not more often, and then asking for help and reaching out to fund managers like myself and others in your community to ask for help along the way.
Inspiring and helping startups and small businesses. I love that. It's Black History Month, and coming up in March, it will be Women's History Month, 2 commemorative months with special meaning to you. How are you recognizing and the significance of these 2 months? How are you celebrating?
Yeah, you know, the wonderful thing about me is that I celebrate all year long. There are always reasons to celebrate. There are always leaders in the space, both as Black leaders and women leaders that we look to celebrate, that we look to partner with during these months. We want to highlight those leaders. We want to talk about the people that inspire us. For me, particularly, I would say as I started my fund, 2 people that really inspired me, one being a woman, a Black woman, Melody Hobson at Ariel Investments, and the other being a solo GP, as I am with my fund, Charles Hudson out of San Francisco. And so I always look for opportunities to highlight others and lift them up, especially in moments like this.
Great answer, celebrating all year round. You've had some challenges, by the way, in your life, but they inspired you to take risks and create the life you wanted to tell. Share with us.
Yeah, I like to say I learned how to treat action like a muscle, and that comes out of my early issues with health in my late 20s. I had cancer in my late 20s, and it was a very treatable type of cancer, but it happened to arrive just a year after I lost my mother-in-law to her 20-year bout with cancer. And having cancer at that stage in your life really changes your perspective. It makes you think about time. It makes you live urgently. And so a lot of the time, we all have these great ideas, these ideas we want to get off the ground, these risks we want to take, and we'll think about them forever, for years. And I really wanted to encourage people, and I did this myself. I really started to treat action, every action, like it was urgent. It needed to happen immediately, and I could test, and I could iterate, and I could pivot and make changes along the way. And so I did that for an extended period of time. I won't say how long, otherwise you'll guess my age, and until I got to where I am today.
Well, health is everything, and we're so glad you're able to share your story. Now, going back to investing in others, particularly Black and minority entrepreneurs, it's so important to you. Do we have work to do in this area?
We have so much work to do. We know that, well, honestly, the number has actually gone down. It was 1.3% of all venture funding last year or the year before, 2021, and it went down to 1% of all venture funding went to Black founders in 2022. We know that most venture funds don't have Black investors, so that means that when bias exists and there's not a real effort being put forth to make sure that there are funding opportunities for all founders, we're going to have a gap that we need to fill. My fund has a health and wellness mandate, but I still am obviously always looking for the best founders of all backgrounds. I also work with Techstars in LA, and we are also always looking for founders of all diverse backgrounds to make sure that we bring together a class and a cohort that represents the best of all the best founders across emerging opportunities today.
Kimberly, where can people find more so we can find them?
You can reach me on my website, openventure.capital, and you can email me at hello@openventure.capital if you're interested in investing or learning more about how to become part of my portfolio.
Kimberly, thank you so much for inspiring us and sharing all the insight. I think we've been inspired and inspiring some people today. Thanks again.